On Saturday, I recorded a video which I posted yesterday where I was being funny and silly and doing my shtick. And a friend of mine was in my studio when I was recording it. And although she was laughing at what I was doing, we had a conversation later about how me being silly and my humor had shut her down. Even though it was funny, the end result was that she was shut down. And I've noticed this in my life, that when people are silly around me, or when I'm being silly, when I'm going into my shtick, they don't feel like they're seen by me. They don't feel like it's safe with me. They can laugh and they can forget about their troubles. But that's exactly it. They're forgetting about their troubles rather than dealing with them. They're not vulnerable anymore. It's really, really hard to be vulnerable around somebody who's trying to be funny. Somebody who's putting on an act, somebody who's making fun of things. You don't want to show them your vulnerability. You want to hide it. You want to protect it. You want to keep it away for fear that it will become the subject of their humor, and they'll touch a truth that is so tender for you and they'll laugh at it. And maybe you'll laugh with them on the outside, but on the inside, you've been hurt deeply. Laughter may not be the best medicine, unless the medicine you're looking for is similar to alcohol or drugs, where you just want to forget, you want to escape. One of the criticisms I've always gotten throughout my life, especially when I was younger, is that I'm too intense. I feel too much. I feel too deeply. I feel too powerfully. People don't want to feel that much. And if they are feeling, they just want it to be laughter, and that's it. I don't want to really look at things. I don't want to really deal with things. I don't want to really see things. I just want to laugh. I don't want to be vulnerable. And we don't have to be vulnerable when people are making us laugh. In fact, it's not safe to be vulnerable. We had a conversation about that, and Robin Williams came up in that conversation because he is someone that has had a profound effect on me personally throughout my adult life. And as I was working on how to talk about this topic, I learned of his passing yesterday. And it's a tragic coincidence that this is something that I wanted to discuss, and now he's dead. So I don't want this video in any way to seem like me taking advantage of the fact that he died. Because that's not what I'm doing. This is, it's a message that's very, very, very important to me. I took his death kind of hard, as you can see. Not because I knew the man. I didn't know the man. But because of what he's represented for me throughout my life, and how I have followed him and connected with him from a distance and seen him and watched him and felt him. And it just fits perfectly into the conversation I was having with my friend. So I want to talk about it. And I don't want to make this about me. This is simply about a conversation. It's about a way of being. It's about a way of existing in the world that has always troubled me. And I think, could be wrong, but I think it troubled him as well. Whenever I would see Robin give an interview where he was either promoting one of his comedy shows or promoting a comedic film, I would see him go into this shtick, this non-stop, rapid-fire, brilliant monologue, comedic routine, whatever you want to call it, where he would just blow people's minds with how fast he could connect things and make them funny and turn things over and show you a perspective that you'd never seen before and make you laugh. But at the same time, I was embarrassed watching it. because I could see me there. I could see my need to constantly perform and my need to just be better, smarter, faster, quicker, more profound than anybody had ever been before. And how that killed me when I did that, and how it came from a sense of unworthiness, how it came from a sense of shame, how it came from a place of feeling so undervalued and so worthless that my voice all by itself would never ever be loud enough to be heard. Nothing I could ever say as me would be interesting or of value. So I had to ramp it up 10,000-fold in order to feel like maybe somebody would hear me. And I felt the same way when I watched Robin do these interviews. I just wanted to grab him and say, please stop, it's okay. Just stop. You don't have to do this. I don't know what he was going through. I'm not going to say that I know exactly what he was going through, but I could feel something. I felt akin to him. It felt like me. What I was watching felt like me, and I wanted him to know that it was okay. He didn't have to do that because I understood. I knew what that feels like. To feel like nothing you're ever going to say is going to matter, and that no one will ever listen and no one cares. I don't know how it came about. I've been this way my whole life. I don't know where that undervaluing comes from. There's no incident in my life that I can remember that made me feel that way. It's always been there, and it doesn't go away. And I wonder if he had a similar experience. Because when you watch his dramatic roles, you see this deep, tender, beautiful man. Dead Poets Society, Good Will Hunting, Centennial Man, which the critics panned for being overly sentimental. I thought it was one of the most beautifully profound films I've ever seen. I connected so powerfully to that film and to him. The vulnerability he shared in that film tore me to pieces. Here's a person who feels something. When you feel that deeply and you feel alone in it because you look around and nobody else is feeling that deeply. Nobody else gets it. Nobody else sees and feels what you see and feel. You just want to check out. You want to numb out. You want to disappear. You want to hide away. And when you're in the midst of this insensitive world, you try to entertain them. You become the court jester because you're afraid. They're going to see who you really are. They're going to see your tenderness. They're going to see your vulnerability. They're going to see that you're different. They're going to see that you're an alien, that you're from Orc, you're from another planet, and they're going to attack you. So you keep them laughing. You always keep them laughing so that they don't see you, so that they don't notice that you're different, so that they don't attack you. You keep them away. You keep them distant. You keep them somewhat threatened. That's what comedy is. You're keeping people at a distance. I took my first acting classes in 1989 at Middlebury College because I was so profoundly shy and scared to death of other human beings, and I didn't want to live anymore if I couldn't connect with people, if I couldn't speak to people, if I couldn't be in a room and get words to come out of my mouth. I didn't want to live anymore. It was too hard. So I took acting classes hoping that maybe I would learn some skills to be able to communicate, hoping that maybe I'd be able to speak, and that words and feelings would come out of my mouth like they're struggling to do right now. And I found something in those classes. I found something beautiful. That inside the protection of somebody else's script, inside the protection of somebody else's words, I was safe. I could feel, I could be me, I could show people that depth, I could show people what was going on in the inner world inside of me, the stuff that I was so deathly afraid for anyone to see. I could show them because I was safe, I was on stage, it was a role I was playing, they were other people's words, they weren't mine. People didn't know that what they were seeing when they watched me was my truth. They thought I was acting. I wasn't acting. For me, acting was the only time that I could be real. It's the only time that I could express myself freely, because the words didn't matter. It didn't matter what words were coming out of my mouth. The connection that I was having with people in that audience, that was real. I was really connecting with them. Acting was the most powerful thing I've ever experienced, because it wasn't acting at all. It was being. And I was safe to be the freak. I was safe to be the man that felt too much. I was safe to be the man that was too sensitive. I was safe to be the man that was too intense. Because they didn't come to see me, they came to see a story. I was just a vehicle for that story. One of the first acting books I ever read was called The Invisible Actor by a Japanese master whose name I forget. I'm sorry. But he tells the story of this performance in Japan where the lead actor is sick, so a stand-in has to come in and take his place. And so this stand-in, the understudy, is on stage and he's pointing at the moon. And the way that he points at the moon is so beautiful. The way he moves his arm and the way his body shapes itself, and the feeling and the effort, and everybody is just in awe and they're marveling at the artistry in how this man uses his body as he points towards the moon. And all the critics are raving about this man. And then when the main actor got better and came back to the production, the audience had a very different experience. They no longer noticed the actor trying to look beautiful and brilliant. What they noticed was the moon. Because the actor's job was to move the story forward. The actor's job was to point at the moon. Look at the moon, don't look at me. Don't look at me trying to be beautiful and brilliant as I point to the moon. Look at the friggin' moon. That's where I want you to look. I'm just here to get you to look over there. It's not about me. I'm simply the vehicle to get you to look somewhere else. It's like Aikido, it's like a mirror. I hold up the mirror so that you look at your own reflection, or you look at something else I'm pointing the mirror at. I'm just holding the mirror. That's what acting is to me. Mirroring a truth, but first by feeling it yourself, by feeling the truth, being a truth, having a profound, real experience, and then holding that up as a reflection for other people to see so they can say, wow, I can see that in myself, or I can see that in the world. And when Robin Williams took on these dramatic roles, that's what I saw. I saw this mirror. I saw myself. I saw heart and soul, and I saw connection. And I have no idea where I'm going with this video, but I am deeply saddened by the loss of Robin Williams. And it makes me want to be a better man and do what I can to voice those demons, to voice that suffering, to voice that pain and that challenge, and not have it be the silent killer that it is, that we are ashamed to talk about. We should not be ashamed to talk about shame. And I know many of you are going to try to shame me for making this video and for feeling and for emoting and experiencing something. And I'm not going to shame you back. I'm not going to say shame on you for trying to shame me. I'm simply going to ask you why. What are you afraid of? Why do you want to hurt me and people like me? What do you have inside of you that you're afraid of? What feelings do you have in you that you're scared to let other people see? So you keep them at a distance. You put up a wall of humor or comedy, or you put up a wall of toughness or hardness. You're a badass, but you're really protecting this tender, tender spot inside of you. I'm here to tell you that it's okay. You don't have to hide it. It's okay. And even if you come at me and you attack me, I'm still here for you if you need me. I love all of you. It's a sad day.